February 5th, 2020, 5 weeks and 6 days. Tomorrow I will be 6 weeks pregnant. Mike and I have known for a little over 2 weeks, and it is really special to hold on to this little secret together, just the two of us. I remember when I found out with my first pregnancy, I told a lot of people right away. And then with my second false pregnancy, I remember we told again a lot of people right away. Hi guys, thanks for joining me. This is going to be a first trimester recap, so let's dig right in. So if you've watched my first episode of Pregnant AF, you know that I had the infamous pregnancy stick positive test. This was on January 20th, 2020, and this is actually my second pregnancy. My first pregnancy ended in a miscarriage, but we're going real strong with this one. And the reason why I'm so detailed and I know a lot about things about my pregnancies because I track everything. So I am using the Kindara app to track things like my symptoms and my exercise, my goals, and then I'm using Google Docs just to write a pregnancy journal, and then I'm going to also use YouTube to help with vlogging, so I'm really excited. I had a feeling that I was pregnant because I was actually having some really severe breast tenderness for about 8 days before I took that positive pregnancy test. I took my positive pregnancy test on day 28 of my cycle, so I waited a pretty long time to take it. Even though it was an early detection, me and Mike and I kept on saying, let's just wait. So there have been a lot of synchronicities with this pregnancy. So let's start with the first one, which is the date of my last period was December 24th, 2019, which is Christmas Eve, but it's more importantly, it's Mike, my fiance's birthday. And then after that, my first prenatal appointment was scheduled on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Then we had to schedule our next, which was the 12-week ultrasound, which we scheduled it on St. Patrick's Day. So that was March 17th. And then after that, we scheduled our 16-week appointment, which actually has gotten canceled, but that one was supposed to be on Good Friday. So it's just so many different holidays we hit. Also, another synchronicity is that the baby is due late September, which would make it a Libra, like myself. All right, so my major symptoms so far have definitely been extreme breast tenderness and breast enlargement. I've had bouts of low energy during the first trimester. Now, when I'm speaking to you, I'm actually now 16 weeks, so I wanted to make sure I completely finished my first trimester to give you a recap. I feel like that's what a true recap should be. So I did have lower energy in the first trimester for sure. I had shortness of breath, but I had really bad shortness of breath anyways from my first pregnancy that never really went away. I was dizzy, some heartburn, some constipation. The biggest thing was definitely that queasiness and nausea. It was sort of like a low level all day queasiness that would never go away, and it was so annoying. And so I can only imagine for the women who have had actual vomiting, or some women who have all day vomiting. I just can't even believe how that would feel. So instead, mine was just kind of like this all day queasiness, very leading into vomiting. My mouth would fill up with saliva, and I had to swallow it. And so I also was I hate throwing up, so I was really good at doing things preventatively. So I'm going to read you another diary entry. So February 11th, 6 weeks, 5 days, still queasy. I decided to eat a brat style diet to do whatever it takes to feel better. I am not eating a ton of calories because of it, and the food quality isn't my norm, but I gotta do what I gotta do. Nutrition doesn't go directly to the baby for a while anyways. Helps if I eat right when I wake up. Have been doing eggs and toast for breakfast, soup and toast for lunch, crackers or a protein drink for snacks, and a simple dinner of a protein and vegetable. Still keeping up with a gallon of water per day, resting a lot, loving Disney Plus right now. So yeah, some of the things that I did that helped my nausea, or at least I think I helped my nausea, were these C-bands, where they are acupressure points that you wear on your wrist, so people can actually tell if you see a woman walking around with those on their wrists, it's a telltale sign that she is pregnant. So I made sure I was hiding those. Luckily, my first trimester was all in cold weather, and I stopped actually right before I stopped wearing those when I was in Miami, because I flew to Miami during my first trimester wearing short sleeves and stuff. I took off those C-bands, and because I was like around a bunch of people in Miami, I didn't really like that. I feel like the nausea subsided because I was super I was busy, right? When I was at home and was maybe like sidetracked by things like, oh, what's that? The nausea would be worse. Some other things that really helped were these organic Trader Joe's ginger mints. These were great. Also, these little ginger chews from the Ginger People were really helpful. And then I think the most helpful thing was I got some ginger pills from my local health store, A Market, and this is 1,000 milligrams of organic ginger root. So that was also something on the OBGYN sheet that they gave me that I could take for my morning sickness and nausea. Some other things that I was told I could do is Tums. So I got this gigantic bottle, maybe 2 of these, of Tums. Definitely we're taking those, but the main things that helped were smaller meals more frequently throughout the day and not stuffing myself. And that's even really true right now in the second trimester. Pregnancy cravings were like always changing, and they still are to this day. So at first it was like a really, really cold chocolate protein shake, whether it was like one that I made myself with a bunch of ice, or if I bought those pre-made protein shakes from the grocery store, like pouring it over ice and drinking that. And then really buttery toast, a lot of nostalgic food. So like when I was a little girl, my Nana used to make me poached eggs over toast. We would like crack the egg with a fork, and it would just, the toast would top it all up. Craving that like crazy. And this other nostalgic foods like Chef Boyardee, mac and cheese, toaster scrambles, if you remember those. It was like from the makers of Toaster Strudel, but it was like egg and cheese and bacon in the middle, and I would dip it in ketchup, and I couldn't stop thinking about toaster scrambles. I never did, and also fast food, McDonald's, Wendy's, all the good stuff. So like I never actually gave in to those cravings. If I had mac and cheese, I definitely had mac and cheese. It was probably the Diet brand. But I don't think I ever went to McDonald's in my first trimester, no. As far as aversions in the first trimester, it's so crazy to believe, but vegetables, especially purple sweet potatoes, were grossing me out to even think about. Brussels sprouts, asparagus, onions and peppers, especially the smell of onions and peppers. And then like other healthy foods like quinoa was a big no-no, and then leftovers. Weird aversions about just couldn't eat leftovers. And another thing was like the sense of smell was super strong. So, you know, we went through a few weeks where if we forgot to close the bedroom door, I was so angry. We had to close the bedroom door when we were making food, because if not, when we went into that room to relax and fall asleep, all I could smell was food, and it would give me like a headache because that's all I could smell. When you are pregnant, your sense of smell is so strong, you don't even want to smell anything. So Mike would like put essential oils on, and I was like, I don't even want to smell lavender right now. I want to smell nothing. I don't want to smell anything. And I also had a few weeks there where I couldn't walk into the grocery store without being completely grossed out, because I could smell the smells from everything. That was hard. Activity levels during the first trimester, again, I had low energy, and I was also working more. So I was trying to do my friend Coach Adriana's bar class once a week, and doing any type of modifications that I knew as a pre and postnatal trainer myself. Hey, fit for birth. And then I also was trying to go to the gym with my husband on the weekends once a week, and either do like the whole hour just walking on the treadmill, or doing some high intensity intervals. I even remember, you know, still running and doing sprints on the treadmill in the first trimester. And really, when I look back at the Kindara app to track my exercise, I was doing 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week of exercise. So on those off days, I was probably just maybe lifting at the house or going into my studio in Concord where I teach my pre and postnatal fitness and doing a quick workout there. To recap, I felt like death from week 6 to 9. And I'm gonna read you another journal entry for when I entered into the 9th week. So February 26th, 2029 weeks, one day. The past week I felt a lot better, so much more better that my mind is starting to play games with me and I'm secretly freaking out I'm not pregnant anymore. My appetite is back. I can eat more foods now without it grossing me out. I can eat larger meals. Smells are not as bad as before. The all-day queasiness is gone. I am still experiencing breast tenderness, low energy, shortness of breath, heartburn, and now some piriformis syndrome, so some pain in my glute area. March 17th, can't get here fast enough. Excited to be traveling to Miami tomorrow. My new thoughts are, I have been rocking this pregnancy so much. B6 has built up in the body. Water intake is better. I figured out my meals. That's why I feel better. And so when I started to feel better, it was just such a trigger because that was the thing from the first pregnancy that my midwife flagged as, oh, she shouldn't be feeling better this early. But when I went to my 12-week ultrasound, the doctor was like, a lot of women feel better at week 9. She's like, imagine if you felt like what you felt like before for the whole 40 weeks, no one would get pregnant again. And so that made me feel a lot better. And actually I had an 11-week appointment, then the 12-week was just the ultrasound. At the 11-week appointment, Mike was there. He was able to be there. This was before the real drama hit with COVID-19. And she put the Doppler on my belly and we heard the heartbeat for the first time. And I remember I just started sobbing. Yeah, and another thing that you might have heard me say was my B6 was built up. So another thing I started to do was take 50 milligrams of B6 in the morning, 50 milligrams before bed. And that also was to help combat that queasiness. My OB/GYN also said I could take Unisom tabs and B6, but I didn't think it was that bad where I couldn't handle it. That would be maybe for if I was vomiting. I'm gonna go ahead and read you my next diary entry, which I love this entry because I took a little bit of a break from journaling. So I went from 9 weeks to 12 without, because I had traveled to Miami. But this is how much time has changed from February 26th to March 17th of 2020. It is literally so insane how much has changed in just 3 weeks. First off, I had my first ultrasound today and heard the baby's heartbeat, saw it shape, and saw it move. Heard the heartbeat for the second time today, actually, because we heard it together on a Doppler at our 11-week appointment. Unfortunately, Mike had to wait in the car and we FaceTimed during the ultrasound. My OB/GYN center is not allowing any visitors to attend visits with you for the time being. Enter COVID-19 pandemic. Yep, we are in a pandemic right now, and I am 12 weeks pregnant. And I am one of the lucky ones. Some moms who are due right now are being told they cannot have their doula or spouse with them during childbirth. President Trump declared this a national emergency on Friday, and people are hoarding toiletries, in parentheses, so much toilet paper, and groceries. If going to a grocery store right now, things are insane and many shelves are completely empty. All bars and restaurants in many states, including New Hampshire and Mass, can only do takeout, and if found in a group of more than 25, you can be arrested for it. Many countries are doing complete lockdowns, and I fear we may be on the same path soon. It is really bad in New York City and Washington State. So far, the death rate is estimated to be 10 times worse than the flu, and there is no vaccine yet. The UK stated yesterday that they're grouping pregnant women with the elderly and impaired immunity as the highest risk groups and are urging pregnant women to shelter in place for 12 weeks. Schools are closed for the next 3 weeks. Most colleges are finishing out the rest of the school year completely online, and seniors are facing the threat of not getting an actual graduation, but their diplomas mailed to them. The last public gathering I was in and plan on being in for some time was Saturday, March 14th for my Nana's memorial. R.I.P. Nana. After my ultrasound visit today, I do not believe I will leave the house for the next 14 days, which was very true. That was the 17th of March. Today is the 14th of April, and I still have not physically been into any establishment except for the small little farm stand down the road to pick up some strawberries. Other than that, it's just walking around the house. And yeah, so much had changed in such a small little amount of time. went from nothing really, you know, we had some things on the news, people were talking about coronavirus, to being just like shut down everything. And all right, what else did I wanted just to end with the supplements that I take. Just remember that everyone is unique. Talk to your provider before you start any new supplement regimen. During the first trimester, I was actually taking Katie Hearn's company Alanu Prenatal, and then I switched to Seeking Health Optimal Chewable Prenatal. I wish I was just taking these from the start, but I kind of wanted just to wait to get over that first trimester before I switched supplements. But the reason why I like this, premethylated B12 as methylcobalamin and premethylated folate as methyl tetrahydrofolate, glucosamine salts, calcium folinate, quadrafolic. So the premethylated, I have an MTHFR gene mutation, which means I can't methylate folic acid into folate. Second thing I take is Nordic Naturals Prenatal DHA. So it's a little bit higher on the DHA than the EPA. It also contains some vitamin D, but I still take a little bit extra vitamin D in the form of pills, 1,000 units. I alternate every single day taking 1,000 and 2,000. Again, I take my ginger still in the second trimester every day, but I took that a lot in the first trimester too. And at night, I was taking and still am taking magnesium citrate to help with the constipation and to help with sleep. And here is the infamous Baby Faye ultrasound photo. So these things that you're seeing right here are the baby's legs. So when you look at this photo, do you not see a baby just straight chilling with its feet up, smoking a pipe? I'll let you just think about that for a second. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.